Hello, my name is Jim Hermann. Been representing folks applying for Social Security Disability for almost 30 years. Excuse me. And I just want to give you just a brief summary of what, as you can see, I have my microphone almost in my mouth because some folks say they can't hear me, so I guess I'm just maybe a little bit too soft spoken when I'm doing videos, so I'm trying to speak up a bit and speak right into the microphone. But at any rate, um, I will typically call my clients the day before their hearing, and I'll just ask a couple, well, more than a couple, about 12 items that just kind of, excuse me, kind of a refresher. Number one, I'll ask if you're working. Sometimes folks have gone back to work, either part time or full time, and if so, what you're doing, the details, when you started. Then again, we'll talk about your past work and remind you that the heavier the better, because you're going to be asked, about any job that you've done in the last 15 years. So the heavier the better, because that blocks the Social Security Administration from saying that you can no longer do that work. And the because people applying for disability seem to have a psychological impasse and tend to think, well, I'm applying for disability, so I'm also going to say my past work didn't amount to much in terms of lifting and that sort of thing. Big mistake. Don't do that. The heavier the better. Be honest, of course, but the heavier the better. And so um, you'll be asked, the heaviest weight you lifted, whether or not you were on your feet, and in some cases, why you left the job. Being fired, especially due to your medical or emotional problems, can be a good thing for a disability hearing. I'll again also ask you about your education, even though Social Security has issued a fairly new regulation where they're in effect saying they're not going to pay too much attention to what they call general educational development. But still, it's important to identify for a lot of reasons. Whether or not you had to repeat any grades, whether or not you were in special education, things of that sort, because that can relate to a number of other factors which may help you get an approval for your disability benefits. So a lot of folks, when they complete the application for disability benefits, simply do not provide accurate information regarding their education for a lot of reasons. Um, I'll ask you if you have a current driver's license, and if you don't, that's fine. Whether or not you have any particular restrictions. By restrictions, I'm talking, did you have a DUI? Do you have maybe some fine that hasn't been paid? And in other words, could be a lot of reasons why you don't have a driver's license. And I will, of course, ask you your current living arrangement. If you're living with friends, living with family, still living alone, whether or not you have children, if so, what are the ages of the children. I'll ask you, of course, your marital status. Um, I will ask you if you have a diagnosis of like radiculopathy, which means, your pain is moving down the lower extremities of your body, um, your legs, your feet, so on. And if you do, some doctors say you need to elevate feet and legs. Sometimes they say about every 10 minutes per hour above heart level. Heart level sounds high, but it really isn't. If you're in an easy chair and kind of laid back in a lazy boy or whatever you watch TV in, one more pillow underneath your feet, get your your feet above heart level. So if you have to stop to elevate feet, according to your doctor, about every 10 minutes, then you'd have a hard time holding a full-time job, obviously. And then, of course, I'll ask you what the doctor told you, how often, how long, how high, that sort of thing. Reminder again about the trick question. Some of the administrative law judges are asking clients, if you could simply sit alone in a separate area. and sort bolts or sort linens all day, would you be able to do that job all day long, 8 hours? If you say yes, you're very likely to be not approved, because you're admitting you can do full-time work, and disability hearings are all about whether or not you can do full-time work. So just a reminder about that. Let's see, with regard to your medications, have your medications in front of you in case you in all likelihood will be asked about your medications. And then, of course, whether or not you have any side effects from medications. Some medications cause frequent trips to the restroom or whatever. We're the adjudicators, the administrative law judges are looking for any side effects that may interfere with your ability to work full time. And then, again, just a quick reminder with regard to reaching overhead and stooping. The way I'll frame that is, assume you're on a job where you had to reach above shoulder level, both hands and arms, for up to a third of the workday. A third of a workday is what Social Security calls occasional, and that's a little bit more than 2.5 hours. But don't think of it in terms of straight work for 2.5 hours. Think of it in terms of spread out over the 8-hour day, because that's the way the adjudicator is looking at it. So, if you had a job where you had to reach above shoulder level for up to a third of the workday, but spread out over the 8 hours, stocking shelves, whatever the activity may be, how would you get along with that sort of activity? And by the way, the adjudicators are not looking for yes or no answers. Don't say, no, couldn't do that. They're looking for why, WHY, the why you can't do it. What part of your body does that activity impact? To what extent is the pain? Maybe on the scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no pain, 10 going to the emergency room, that sort of thing. The yes or no answers don't get you anywhere. Even the Supreme Court of the United States, when they make a decision, they give their rationale. They explain why they made the decision the way they did. So, yes or no answers don't cut it. The why. You need to be prepared for the why. And then I'll go in the opposite direction. I'll say, assume you're on a job where you have to stoop for up to a third of the workday, spread out over the 8 hours. Examples of stooping, according to Social Security's revised handbook, would be maybe a person who's getting ready to go fishing and they're digging for fishing worms, maybe shoveling dirt or snow into the back of a truck, maybe working on a cleaning machine where you have to stoop down to attach maybe a buffer pad, something of that sort. Maybe walking along the road picking up aluminum cans. So stooping, how would you get along with an activity of that sort? Again, why you're unable to do that. I realize that, your answer is probably going to be pretty similar as to why you can't reach overhead for up to a third of the workday. So, but I think that's just a quick reminder of what you need to think about the day prior to your hearing. So with that, thank you for watching. Always appreciate if you subscribe, and appreciate if you click the like button. Thank you so much, and very best of luck to you.